Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Wil. So, 2 weeks ago, we talked about what it would be like to become a travel agent, whether you owned your own business, you bought a franchise, or became an agent, a travel agent with another business. And so, we're going to build upon this because we got a lot of questions. So, thank you to our winners who sent in some questions and we're inquiring about it. We're going to go a little bit deeper. But before we do, please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow for Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And certainly want to thank Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode, which is very apropos in this Wanderlust Wednesday because we're going to go deeper about the travel agency and obviously Nick Menard and Associates is rapidly expanding their agency with agents. So let's chat a little bit more about what people can expect to being an actual travel agent versus a franchise owner or a business owner to start.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that, and hello, winners. So yes, like Will mentioned, we gather all the questions, and we will try to answer them all today. So it was more specific to associates. So as you remember, to gather from 2 weeks ago, or if you didn't listen to it, I would encourage you to go and listen to that part. But if you did, I in summary, I explained the three different ways to become a travel agent. The first way is you want to build your own agency. So it's a lot of effort and not a lot of support, but it's the most rewarding at the end because you don't have to pay fees for a franchise, etc., etc. But it's going to be a long process for you to get to understand every single step of of the agency that you are building, and building also relationship partnership with all the different vendors because you don't have zero help. The second is owning a franchise, which is the case with mine, where you get support, you get a lot of tools, you get the back office, you have a lot of information that helps you fast start in beginning. But it's included a larger fee to start, and also a percentage of your commission will go to the franchisor. Then you have the third option, which is associate. So an associate is someone who who is part of the team within a franchise. So see it as, like I mentioned, I believe also a couple of weeks ago, see that as a brokerage in real estate. So when you have a franchise, you own a brokerage, and then you have a bunch of realtor on the road. Here you have a bunch of travel agent on the road, and you help build a team that way. So everybody get the benefits of the agency without having the huge fee who is linked to it. It's just part of commissions who are going to the franchise. So this is a quick summary. So about associates, yes, with Nick Monar and Associate, with Dream Vacation, we are growing, like you mentioned. We have this year 2 new associates already, and we are in February. So we're 2 new associates, and we're about to enroll a third one the coming 2 3 weeks from now. So yeah, so it's growing. I personally love it. Why? Because seeing people starting and then going through the motions and then start getting their first sale, the excitement, etc., that's something that I always enjoy. As an entrepreneur, as a leader, that's things that motivates me. And I will put a lot more energy when I see like the agency is actually doing well thanks to the effort of people. But as the leader of the agency, I want to make sure that I provide 100% of tools to them, and I also help them be successful. So it's a monkey see, monkey do kind of business. And I got my help when I started. I mean, not someone, but I had a lot of tools that I could read. And here from my associates, I'm able to actually help them navigate like the first few bookings, the first few, you know, things to put in the system, things like that. So, to answer your question about associates, I like to start with the first 90 days or the first 100 days. How does it look like? So it's gonna be a lot of training.
Mhm.
It's online, so you don't need to go anywhere. You can do it from your sofa, from your recliner, from your office, wherever you want to go. You can work from anywhere. So that's the advantage. you have only one mandatory training. It's the first training that you need to pass in order to get the license to be able to sell travel through the franchise. All right. So this is a training that it will take you a couple of days to finish, but you need a commitment to start. Like again, like I mentioned again, if you take it like a hobby, it will cost you money. If you take it like a business, it will make you money. And that's what everybody should. But a lot of people think that, just by being there, that's gonna
It's gonna be
come.
raining money.
Nah, yeah, no. I mean, it can be, but you need to put a lot of effort to get there.
Right.
Then every single vendors. So as vendors, I mean hotels, resort, cruise lines, itinerary builders around the world. They all have their own training. So which training to choose when something like that happen? Well, you cannot do them all, like I mentioned. So you need to select those that are the most impactful when you start. So if people around you are more open for cruising, for example, you live in Florida, or you live in California, or close to Galveston, and you have a lot of people cruising. So I would recommend to start with the 2-3 main cruise lines that you will be able to sell fast. All right. So then you can start doing those training. Something to mention: you don't need to do the training to sell them. But if you don't do them, how are you able to sell? How are you able to talk about more in depth about which ship to choose, what is going to happen on the ship, what kind of activities, what kind of restaurants you have, and things like that? Yes, you can always call me, but I will not be answering the phone 75 times a day for question that will be answered on the training. That's your responsibility to do those training. I'm here to help, but not to do everything for you. So so that's number one. Number two, when you do those trainings, you get a certain level with the cruise line, same with the hotel and resort, and it allows you to get some personal benefits as well. Even though I do believe that when you do this business is for a business and not for you, otherwise you're not doing the right thing. All right. But it's always nice when you are selling the product. If you want to experience it yourself, I think it makes sense that you get a little benefits by doing so, because you follow the training and you sell their brand. All right. So I suggest all the time the first 30 days, do a couple of trainings. So you are certified with those cruise line or those resorts. All right. Then you do the training based on the request from the client. So when you receive a client request for something, you don't need to do the training before answering, otherwise you lose the client. But then you may maybe I saw that. So then what you can do is call me and say, hey Nick, here's the situation. Can we can you help me with this? But I want to do the training after, so I'll learn about it myself. But you don't lose a sale. All right. So that's how you can build. I'm 3 years in and I still have lots of training I didn't do because I don't have the time. But when I have some time, I definitely do some more, because you learn something. Also, you will never learn everything. You don't need to learn everything. The important things is that when you are stuck somewhere, that you know that you can get the answer yourself. All right. So that's very important. The second point, when you start, in order to have a successful start, connect with your business development manager from the different vendors. So if you sell, for example, Virgin, Celebrity, Norwegian, all right, a lot. Okay. Connect with the BDM, the business development manager from those vendors, and just ask for 30 minutes of their time. They will send you a calendar, and then you just connect whenever you guys are available together, and you just, get to know him or her. So they know that you have also the willingness to learn about them, to learn about their brand, and also they will help you build your business by providing some marketing tools, or by just, provide you some tips and advices about how to build like a group or anything like that. So it's always good to have them on your back pocket and to build relationship with those, because every single vendor have one. So they usually by region. So we are in the Southeast in Florida. For the associate I have on the West Coast, there is a West Coast BDM. So you can really, I can give you the name of all of them, but I will not send you a list of here 100 to contact. Let's do the same thing. Contact 2-3 per month, and you build relationship as you go. All right. So if you start doing that, very good. Third point before I stop talking, because I need to drink some water, you need to set goals. And we talk about it during the Mindset Monday all the time, but it's extremely important to actually do it. What's your personal goal the first quarter? And you put the goal. I don't care if it's a number, dollar amount of sale. I don't care if it's a number of bookings that you have, a number of quotes that you want to send, whatever you want to do, put it on paper. They share that with me, and I will be holding them accountable. So it's an accountability thing. I'm not your boss. I'm not their boss, but it's a good accountability things to have, because if you have no goal, then nothing happen, and we don't know if you're successful or not.
Right.
So it's very important that we set the goal on paper, share them with me, and I will help you reach and overachieve them. But a goal is needed. Otherwise, we're just looking for wind.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
No, that was awesome. Very good advice. And I think, so obviously if somebody's deciding to jump into this full time from the onset, they can certainly expedite things. Knowing that you started building this while you were still employed and working, and obviously you've had associates who have other things that they're doing and building this. Any tips you would give for somebody who is really excited and about getting in the travel industry and building, but maybe a little shy yet before they make the full leap? And like, what are some tips and tricks you would say? You mentioned like trying to knock out a couple trainings with a couple vendors in a month. Is there anything else you've seen that you would recommend to people that would help structure their time in order to achieve what you're saying?
It's all about prioritization. There's a marathon. There's not a sprint. When I mention those numbers, like a couple of training a month, that's obviously for someone who has a job. Like I do have a job. I still do. And I'm able to do that because I organize my time very well. I have my block schedule at the end of the day during the week, and then weekends I schedule block. Why? Because I want to, and because I'm able to. I don't have a family, so I can do whatever I want. So I understand for people with family, I want you to have your block scheduled for your kids, for your husband, wife, or whatever. But it's very important that if you start a business, that you have blocks who are there for the business, to build your business. Whatever you do, it has something to do with the business. So if you are jumping full time, well, I guess your goal will be different. Instead of 2 training a first month, maybe it's gonna be two training a week, and then you go from there. The goal on paper will be different as well. And again, I much rather do like a goal of amount of quotes sent, because then it means that you are getting more familiar with the different tools, the different vendors, etc., then a dollar amount, because the dollar amount at the end of the day, you learn how to sell better, but it also depends of the timing of clients. And then in the beginning, like you don't want to bombard everybody 75 times a week, otherwise you lose them as well. So it's all strategically how you're going to market it. So that's also something very important. What I really like with the one of the 2 associates who start this year, she had a very clear understanding of what she wants to achieve. She's a business owner already. So I knew it was going to be a better start, because the person has the mindset, she knows how to prioritize. She knows that nothing comes easy. And so she has the motivation to drive. She made one post on social media that she's combining her current business with travel. Well, when it happened, like she closed down immediately a couple of bookings. She has a couple more in the work, and she has already a couple of groups who are getting built, like in a matter of 2 weeks. And that's the beauty of it, because she has already a market. She has already like an amount of friends, an amount of clients that follow her. and that trust her because we are in a service business. It's also something very important to say. We are not the one, driving, or how do you say, like sailing the ship, We're not the one like opening the door of the resort or the hotel. So we are a third party. So we are connecting the vendors with our clients. So we are 100% service business. All right. So if you do anything else who has to do with service, you're already in the industry. Congratulations. You just change literally the product or the service, but it's actually a people business, like a service business. So if you have already like a book of business, people trust you for whatever product or service you are doing, they will trust you for this one as well. And that's something that I hear a lot of time. Well, if I do this, it's going to be, people will not take me seriously with my other business. I tend to disagree with that. Why? Because you already provide an excellent service. So they should know that you will provide an excellent service with the other piece as well. And that's why I know tons of entrepreneurs or even people working corporate who have a lot of different businesses, and it works because of the quality of service they provide, and people trust you. And when they trust you, they will trust you for the rest. That's what you do as well, because they expect the same level of service. So this would be important. And if you are afraid to pull the trigger, ask yourself the question: what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of the time commitment? Are you afraid of the work that you will need to do above what you're currently doing? Or are you afraid that you will not be successful? Well, I can guarantee you will not be successful if you don't start. So there's only one way to be successful, is to actually start. So ask yourself, why are you afraid? And when you have the answer of that, then I can maybe help. But if afraid, it means not much to me. Afraid of what? So again, it's a decision that everybody needs to take for themselves. But I don't know a lot of business who are more fun than to talking about travel with clients every single time you are working the business.
Yeah, because there's so many amazing things out in the world and so many different ways to experience it. And
people are positive.
Yeah.
I mean, why? Nobody will call you, oh my God. You're not selling like a freaking mattress.
Yeah.
You're selling like an experience.
Or warranty for your vehicle because it's expiring.
It's also service, but good luck.
Yeah. No, I hear you. No, that's great. And I think, when thinking about somebody who is, maybe one of their concerns is, I don't have a big network and I'm going to have to invest a lot in marketing. Well, you're somebody, the only money I've ever seen you do is the apparel you're wearing, and then you sponsor a children's event at Halloween. But you've never bought leads or anything like that, and you've grown your agency to really great success, especially the last 18 months. It's just really hockey stick. So maybe talk a little bit about people who are thinking, oh, I don't have $1,000 a month to invest in marketing to try to get leads for the business.
Yeah, I material. I mean, whatever I'm wearing, and yeah, the event you mentioned, it was $150. Literally buying candies and stuff like that, and it was more to have a visual during an event. But yeah, no, nothing else. So when I started, I had 600 friends on Facebook. Half of them are in Belgium. Yeah. Because I had 5,000 friends when I was doing business in Europe on Facebook, and I delete majority of it when I moved here, and I tried to stay away from it. Then when I started this, I realized the power of social media. I knew the power of social media, so I add more people. But right now I'm under 1,200 people. So it's really not the most important is to be consistent in whatever you do. And I do believe so. I never buy lead. I never pay anyone to give me a referral, or anything like that. It's 100% word to mouth, then doing a very good customer service with the client who actually use you, following up very well with each of them. And then you get recurrent business nonstop. Someone who's traveled one time will travel every year, sometimes twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. And those people will always use the agency. because they had a great experience one time, two time, and now they're just staying with me. And they will continue to come. They will continue to refer me or refer us. So it's the most, it's the beauty of this business. It's like, again, it's just a people business. So referral is key. So when I talk about consistency, what does that mean? So I have a routine on social media. I'm on every single platform. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and X and YouTube. So I post at least three posts on the platform, mainly Facebook and LinkedIn, but they're most of the time connected, so you will see them everywhere. 3 a day since the day I started. So there are ways to do that. Don't think that I'm just doing that 3 times every day, like figure it out what I post. I do it once. I used to do it once a week on Sunday morning. I just figure it out which post I'm gonna post all week long, and I just schedule them. Then I used a company who is actually doing that for me. All right. But it's free marketing. I don't pay Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, nothing. I didn't spend one dime yet to any platform. So that's number one. When I travel, I post intensively everything that I do. Why? You make, and I said that 2 weeks ago, you make more money. The more you travel, the more money you make. Why? Because people want to do what you do. People want to experience what you experience. And so it's very important. I talk to very successful business owner in travel industry. Those people travel more than 200 days a year. All they do is traveling, and not around the corner. They travel around the world, like destination that you only see on TV. But that makes people believe they can do it as well. And that's where you get all those phone calls. Oh my God, where is that? I need to go. I will save money. I'll do it in 2 years. Can you schedule it? Yes. So that's very important to continue to be active and to show what you do on social media. So that's number 2. But that's free marketing. Yeah, you travel, but it's free marketing and you have the experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's extremely important. Guess what? I used to barely have a like on all those things. I barely have a share. Right now, sometimes I do, but I still have a lot of posts with 0, 1 like, 2 likes, some 15, 20. But I never had like 60, 50, 60 likes or 100 shares. I think the most I had is like 15, 16 shares on a post. It's all based on consistency, and people watch you. Something to never have a doubt about. If you don't have like, if you don't have share, it's fine. People still watch you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember after 8, 9 months, I have someone contacting me out of the blue and said, Nick, I see you all the time on the travel. I see all your posts. Never got a like from that person, but I see all the posts. Can you help me with my honeymoon next year? Like, yes, sure. And someone that I never met that is on my Facebook, and that's it, which is the case for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So people are watching. Never forget. I receive constantly. No, I receive between 3 and 6 messages a day, private message. I don't have as many likes a day, but I don't care. The private message is what matters.
Right.
I don't need to have shares and likes. I like them, but I don't need them because people are still contacting me in private message all day, every day. And that's the beauty of it. Why? Because you are consistent. You never give up. I could have given up a million times the first 6 months to 8, 9 months because I had barely nothing from it. But again, it's free. I don't stop. Continue to advertise. And people roll eyes maybe. I don't care. Doesn't pay my bill. So I continue to do it until I start getting the return. And no, the return is automatic. So that's very important.
Awesome. As we think about it, we probably have time for one more question. So I'm going to ask kind of an open-ended question, which you might be like, why'd you do that to me? But, if somebody were to call you up, and I know this happened recently where somebody's calling you up and asking a whole bunch of questions, but what is one question you haven't heard somebody ask who's exploring to become an agent, but you think would be a good question for them to think about asking, and you can give the answer right here? So that could be a brain stumper. So
No, I actually like that question. I like people with a very strong mindset, as we know, with our Mindset Monday,
Yeah.
and people who dare. So I never heard someone saying like, Nick, what would it take for me to be able to stop working in my job and be able to do this full time?
There we go.
That would be for
Love
me.
that.
That would be for me like someone who has the, hey, I'm starting to do this part time or in my spare time or whatever it is.
Mhm.
But with a question like that, it puts me in like that person has ambition and looking further than just try to make a couple of $100, which is fine, but try to make a couple of $100 a month to just be able to do something. So that would be a question that would make me
I love that. I love that. So it reflected back. I'm going to digress super quick. Remember when we were talking about how we both got started with MLM when we were very young to do that, and one of the guys who was he was with WRL World or WF
Yeah, World
G.
Financial.
World Financial Group. And he's like, when somebody comes to me and they're like, "How do I rent a desk in your office?" He goes, "I know they're serious." And
That's true.
yeah, on that one. But anyway, it just made me think of that. But it's like you're absolutely right, that mindset. So by the way, I did rent a desk in his office, even though I had my own office for the mortgage brokerage, but we were working out a reciprocal arrangement. So
And you were
it was fantastic.
successful.
I was successful.
That's not
No,
surprising.
because it was like, yeah, I mean, you're just making it happen, and those things fit really well. So it's fun. I love that. I love that. So I'm glad that worked out. I was afraid we might be like, oh.
Yeah.
Any last parting words of advice for somebody who's like, all right, I'm ready. How do I get started?
Yeah, good question. Well, you can contact us. You know, you have the number below. Otherwise, you can always go on our LinkedIn. That's where you can find all the information, and you can send a message, private message, and said, Nick, I listened to the podcast, or Will, I listened to the podcast. I'm very interested. I'm always open to discuss more options. But again, it's always good to have questions. But if you want to get 150 question answered, it's probably not something that you are willing to actually do. So you will never have, I never had all the answers of my question. I mean, all the question answered for any business I did, but I figure it out when I start. So I will be there to answer all the question you may have. But if you have question on question and 2 days later and more 10 questions, and 2 days later, more 10 questions, it's probably that you're looking on a way out and not a way in. So jump, do it, follow what works, and go from there would be my advice.
Love it. We'll wrap it up by saying fortune favors the bold. There we go. Well, thank you, Nick. And certainly thanks, winners. Hopefully you gleaned as much as this is. There's a lot of great nuggets that were shared. And please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow for Two for the Win. And of course, thank you to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode. We will see you next Wednesday. And we have a really interesting guest. A guest that some of you may recognize from some of the major news shows in years past, but that's all I'm going to give you. So tune in next week. In the meantime, take care, everyone. Be well.
Bye, winners.